stop now. I'm glad I'm not as flammable as I used to be. The thing you don't hear is that, well, I'm not really getting burned, and I don't have any hair to burn, so what's smoking? And why does it never stop? I could run this lighter dead, fill it up, run it dead, fill it up, run it dead, fill it up, run it dead. And this would never stop. And when I have the torch on a really concentrated area where I can feel it's, a lot of whatever is being burned away, being released from my skin, even though you can't see it. I'm burning it. I can see it after it burns. When I find a really concentrated area, I don't even have to wiggle the lighter. I can just hold it in one spot, and it won't burn me. All the BTUs of heat are being consumed into something before they touch my skin. It's not that I'm not feeling it. It doesn't burn me, and I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling something right there, though. Oh, and all the places that I have these sensations of, things under my skin and in my skin, I also have obvious symptoms of something. It's the sides of my head here, and I can look in the mirror and see that it's swollen. It's puffy and swollen right there where I have the issues and feel it. Or my eyebrows, they'll be puffy and swollen right there where I feel weird crap. Every quote unquote, weird sounding symptom of similar to like bugs crawling on you or in you that Morgellons sufferers talk about is associated with something you can clearly see on the surface. I don't know why it's considered a conspiracy theory when you can point to evidence for it. I guess it's because the doctors, you could walk right up to a doctor in the hospital when you're there and get his attention and point out exactly what your symptoms are, and he will, oh, that's this and that's something else, and this is something else too. There's no such thing as Morgellons. Lately, it's been working its way around my forehead and coming out of my eyes themselves, off of my eyelashes. But I'm not going to burn my eyelashes because that would be a bit too much. I can deal with it on my eyelashes. Can't always deal with it on my eyebrows, though. It's definitely electrical in nature, too. Apparently, I burned something loose off of there. Little fuzz balls. This is what came out of my head from burning it. Oh, would you looky there? It's a gray fuzzball and a little weird hair. This is just one of the aspects of Morgellons. It's not the weird little zit thingies that pop out when you burn the hairs away, and then you burn off whatever the invisible fiber is, let's say. And after you do that, sometime later, I don't know, a day and a half, these red spots will appear that look like zits, but there's nothing in them until they sit there and fester for a while, and then some pus might come out of them. But really, they just sore. They're like little sores, and they're very pink colored. They look like whiteheads or something. Anyway, I get them around my eyes too, or look like zits on my face. But why do I get them on my knees? Why do I get them on my stomach? You know, there we go. Just, oh yeah, you know, I'm not going through puberty. I shouldn't have to worry about that, right? Of course, I shouldn't have to worry about not having clean air to breathe, but apparently, you know, in the interest of fighting global warming, we need to douse our breathing air with incredibly toxic metal gas. And nobody bats an eye at that. Nobody thinks it's an issue at all, but talk about some scary virus that might get you, and oh my God, everybody panics and freaks out. You've never seen the virus, and you haven't seen any evidence that it's even a real thing, considering the death toll rates are no different than they are in any other time period that you check. They're basically the same, actually down from the year before, is what I've heard. And I don't see evidence supporting this pandemic story in the real world. I only see it on television and hear it on, you know, platforms. It's on internet commercials and videos and on television. But in the real world, nothing really changed other than they're spraying the crap out of the atmosphere trying to, right, combat global warming, right? Or those persistent heavy contrails. So I'm a little confused as to which is which. At any rate, it's tied into Morgellons. Morgellons phenomenon came on with me and came on the scene with other people right in lockstep with the aerosol spraying. So, you know, it doesn't take a genius to figure out, you know, when you got two graphs and they run perfectly parallel to each other on the timeline, that they might have something to do with each other, especially if it's, you know, pretty easy to make that connection. We know what toxic metals do to people, and we've known what toxic metals do to people mentally, physically, the whole nine. We've known that for hundreds of years, not hundreds. We've known it for many hundreds of years. They, what do they think? They didn't test any of this out in you know, the olden days. Give me a break. They had better stuff than we do now. And they had clean air and water and food. That's why they lived to be so old. And we're being told that we're living longer and healthier lives when clearly we're not. And, you know, the potential for a long life, maybe the elites are living to be 1,000 years old, and they're throwing the curve off for the rest of us. So on an average, we're living longer because, you know, 50,000 people in the world total are living, you know, for thousands of years, and compared to the rest of us that are not living very long at all. Kind of like that movie In Time. If you've ever seen the movie with Justin Timberlake called In Time, it's a really good movie. It's a really trippy movie. Anyway, there's my Morgellons video for the week, month, whatever, until I make another one. Carry on, Morgellons sufferers. It's real. It's not in your imagination. It's not because you drank too much Coca-Cola, or, you know, or because you smoked crack, or not even those. It's not any drugs you're doing. It would be happening either way. A lot of people don't really get that a lot of people's drug issues has to do with them trying to cope with what they're dealing with. It's not the cause of their problems necessarily. It can be. Drug addiction is real and is a problem. However, it's not that simple of a problem, given that the drugs being spread in this country by whoever has access to an ability to spread them everywhere all the time is poisoning those drugs. And so the people who use those drugs become poisoned and have even more problems. And then it can be blamed on the drugs even more. And those people can be belittled and put down and marginalized and then die. That's our wonderful democratic government in action. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget your masks. Jesus.